you're a single parent, you've probably heard a lot of advice over the years. Work harder. Stay positive. Find another side hustle. Wake up earlier. Go to bed later. The problem is, most of that advice assumes you have extra time sitting around waiting to be used. Most single parents don't. You're already managing a schedule that would overwhelm a lot of people. School, meals, appointments, laundry, work, bills, bedtime, and somehow you're expected to keep everything moving without dropping anything important. So when someone says, "Why don't you just start another business?" it can almost feel a little insulting. Not because the idea is bad, because it ignores your reality. I don't think single parents are looking for another thing to juggle. I think they're looking for breathing room, a little less pressure, a little more flexibility, a little more control over what tomorrow looks like. And that's a very different conversation. One thing I've noticed is that most people think building another income automatically means working more hours. Now, sometimes that's true, but also it means building something that slowly starts working alongside the hours that you're already putting in. That's the difference that interested me. Instead of asking, how can I work another shift? The question now becomes, what can I slowly build that belongs to me? There's no deadline attached to that question. No pressure. Just curiosity. When I started learning about building digital assets, I wasn't looking for shortcuts. I wasn't looking for overnight success. I simply wanted to understand whether creating helpful content around things I already knew could eventually become something valuable. And over time, that's what's happened. Not quickly, not perfectly, but steadily. That's why I created this single parent blueprint. Not because I think every single parent should immediately start an online business, but because I know how valuable it is to understand another option before you ever need it. Inside the blueprint, I walk through a realistic 30-day test. No pressure, no recruiting, no unrealistic promises. Just enough information to help you decide whether this kind of work actually fits your life. And I think that's important because there are a lot of online opportunities that demand constant hustle. This isn't meant to be one of them. The goal isn't to create another source of stress. The goal is to see whether you can quietly build something over time that gives you a little more breathing room for later. Now, one part of the blueprint that I really like talks about the skills that single parents already have. Planning, explaining, prioritizing, solving problems, building trust. Those aren't just parenting skills. They're incredibly valuable online because people search for practical answers every day. You don't have to pretend to be an expert in everything. You simply have to be helpful about something that you've actually lived. And that's enough. Maybe that's the biggest message I want to leave you with. You don't have to figure out your entire future this week. And you don't have to make a huge decision tonight. You don't even have to decide whether this path is right for you. All I guess I'm suggesting is that understanding another option is rarely a bad thing. If, after reading the blueprint, you decide this isn't the right season of life, well, that's completely okay. If you decide to come back 6 months from now, that's okay too. The purpose of the blueprint is not commitment, but it is clarity. If you'd like to continue the conversation, I've linked the free single parent blueprint in the description below. Read it whenever you have a quiet moment. There's no countdown or pressure. It's just a practical guide designed to help you decide whether building a second income is something worth exploring for your own family at your own pace.